All right. Okay, you know what, let me get one more thing, and we'll get going. Give me half a second. You can ask for a waiver for that. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna call this regular meeting public hearing to order Thursday, April 17th, 2025. It is now 7:02 p.m. Roll call real quick. So Tony Bolduc, Chairman, Lisa Di Maria.
Here.
Alan Parody is not here. Let's see. Tim Puglielli, here. Stan Reinheimer, present. Marion Stay.
Here.
Daniel Smith is also absent, and Jonathan Kastner is absent. So just have a quorum. On to audience citizens. So citizens may address the commission on items that are not listed on the agenda. There's a couple people online. What do you really need? There's audience.
One.
Yep.
I'm here to weigh in on Mr.
Gotcha.
Puglielli's.
I'll get to that in a second. Anybody from online? All right. On to approval minutes. We have the March 2025 regular meeting minutes. This too, but we'll get that next time. I did not have a chance to read those. I don't know if you guys did. Okay, so we'll punt.
Yeah.
We'll punt them.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just gonna leave those for next one. So we're on to the public hearing, item A, special permit application, accessory structure over 4,000 square feet, total build area in the gateway zone, 105 River Road, map 6, lot 11. Applicant Timothy J. and Jean S. Puglielli. So we're actually not going to open the public hearing tonight. We're a day off with the sign posting, so we're just going to punt this again till next month. So thank you guys for showing up, but we're just not going to open that public hearing tonight. With that being said, we're on to old business. We have nothing for A, so we are on to item B, ordinance discussion, special events and food trucks. So I'm sure everybody read everything that was in the OneDrive. It has a million comments. Zoe, if you want to give us some input.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, so I pulled the Clinton regs and then I placed and the Madison ordinance so that we can look at both kind of together. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through to show. The Clinton regs are a little bit more thorough. The Madison ordinance is a little bit shorter. I think the thing that I wanted to point out with the Madison ordinance was this piece here where they kind of selected specific streets for mobile vending. So just since this is kind of still, you know, in early stages of people thinking about how this regulation would work, I just wanted to point that out, that that's a method that Madison took. And I don't know if we, you know, want to consider that or not. And then the other thing that I wanted to show was, so this is the Madison definitions. They kind of just did two of mobile food service establishment and mobile food vendor. And then for Clinton, it gets a little bit more granular. So you have event vendor, stationary vendor, seasonal outdoor use, portable structure, and then breaks down the regulations based on those different categories. So I'm happy to scroll to wherever, take notes on specifics, because last time, you know, I think we had some general conversations, but here I can actually, I can take notes in real time so that we can craft more of a regulation.
Actually, I like that Clinton had that spelled out a little more for stationary vendors and all that stuff. But I do like the Madison thing. where you're calling out streets versus, so you can have zones and streets. Because weren't we running into that, where we were worried about people down in, the industrial park?
Yeah, well, and I guess the thing that I would have to check on that I haven't had a chance to check on, but I mean, we have several zoning officers as well as obviously you all have zoning
Right.
insights as commissioners about, the Madison one is an ordinance, and I don't know if that matters at all about streets versus zones. But I wanted to at least point it out as a kind of, you know, thing that they did. Because I have seen it in other places too of, you know, selecting areas that make sense for, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
mobile vendors.
I mean, I do like Clinton's quite a bit, and I know they put a lot of time in on it, so it's nice to be able to steal their stuff and not have to put the effort in. And so if we did kind of lean on the Clinton one, we'd have to pick some zones.
Because we want seasonal outdoor use downtown.
Right.
You know, some of these may not, I mean, we're either discussing just food trucks and Madison is just that and it's pretty streamlined and then we pick our own zones. We want to go with all these other kind of vendors. we
This
really
is-
want to be careful.
This is the Clinton zone chart, so obviously it would look different for us, but just to see what it, you know, what theirs looks like and.
Yeah,
But then do we make it an ordinance or do we keep it in the zone regs?
I would lean towards zoning regulations, right? It's just straight up permit for Zoe to just hand out, if we pick the right zones. Can we, Zoe, can you throw up a zoning map? The GIS one? Thank you. While you're doing that, I'm just. Yeah.
So.
Yes.
correct.
Yeah,
So
we're
not gonna be
not
discussing this at all.
That's all. Say the, sit through our ordinances.
We'll just check in with Zoe then
Yeah, absolutely.
about the next meeting.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
What's going on?
Yeah, we had to continue the public hearing for Referral until next month,
Oh, okay.
so. Sorry. All right, so if we zoom into everybody's favorite hangout, if we go to High 9, right, that's the brown area in the far north end of town there. So if we said we'd put it in that district, right, instead of versus a road, it would also be all those other dark brown properties. Now we have a real colored zoning map. And a couple of those are just houses, no?
Some of the houses are houses, yes, that's residential.
Yeah. So do we narrow it down to properties that are just on Main Street? Or do we work on the reg first and then pigeonhole?
Maybe because no, I always get these two mixed up, even though I live across the street. Bridge Street
Yeah,
obviously has the entrances to Smith and Wesson.
Yep.
That building. And that's little area is more industrial,
yeah,
but I think it also includes the piano factory, the old piano factory.
no, that's a purple,
That's like light pink, purple colors.
yeah. Yeah,
Right.
pinky
Can't
purple
see
color,
the
yeah,
purple.
right where our finger is.
Just
What is
this
it, right
side
there?
of the- Very light pinky. Number 26. Where all those tiny little squares are.
That's
Oh, okay,
versus the brown, which is Smith and Wesson,
all right.
High
yeah.
9. Right, so, all right, so if you did say Main Street, you kind of just cut out Smith and Wesson.
Right.
I mean,
And there's on Smith, Spring Street.
Mhm.
Those two buildings in the back. I think it's some kind of
Is that-
either marina.
I was just
or-
gonna say, that's that boat place, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Which zone is that one? The brown.
Zoe, what zone is that brown color?
it's village industrial.
Is it village industrial? We know we changed everything. It's
Yeah,
hard
I
to-
believe it is village industrial. Let me.
We're so mad there were so many purples and then we changed the colors and nobody knows what's anything is.
So we'd want to look at the village.
Yeah, it's
industrial,
village industrial.
See what uses are allowed now, and if this would impact it in a negative way.
Can you click the zoning chart real quick for village industrial?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna scroll to it on the regs because I have to figure out how to link the new zoning chart. Let's see, is this, yeah, okay, this is village industrial. And now I need to move. my
Facilities, railroads. No commercial recreational facilities, like a bowling alley. I mean, see, but like stuff like that, it would fit, right? You got a bowling alley or something like that. You got outdoor recreation. Those are places that would pull a food truck. Breweries.
Yeah, so. Seeing that would.
Is there, is that the end of, yeah, that's the end of it. So there's, oh, no, there's not.
Fabrication.
No restaurants?
Service provided.
It's in a building.
So I think the thing that we talked about last time too was we were worried that if we put this in some of these zones, we'd have to look at the adjoining zones, so we weren't setting up, you know, a hot dog truck next to calamari's.
Right.
But you would
Calamari's
be-
is in which zone? Is that in
Oh, sorry.
Calamari's? Are they in the,
I don't know.
I think they're,
They're on Main Street.
oh,
right?
they're this side, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
but they're on
probably
the
in
corner of Bridge Street.
Yeah, they're the pink, purple color, in the pond
village
area.
mixed use.
I mean, so it's, I mean, it's kind of far enough away. Is that it for the brown area or is that includes Pandemonium too, right?
Pandemonium is,
About
it,
Winthrop.
I think it's different.
Pandemonium is that brown.
So
Right by
this-
the, highway.
Yeah, so it's still village industrial and there's no restaurants over there. So-
Winthrop isn't brown?
No,
No, I think that's a different industrial park. It's a different,
Is that neighborhood industrial? Not village?
Yeah,
Yes, it's-
neighborhood commercial is, I don't know,
Go
I'm
out to
sorry, my
Winthrop.
computer's being slow.
anytime you do this with Zoom, the GIS runs slow.
Lisa, say that again where you wanted to go?
Winthrop, out by the pizza place.
Haynes Court.
Oh, no, Haynes, no, out by Winthrop.
Oh, you mean where the other pizza place
Grand.
was?
Oh, right.
Granda Pizza.
Isn't there brown out there?
no, I don't think so.
I thought you're right. I think there is a little speck over where the comic book store is now and
Yeah,
Granda
Grand's
Pizza.
in it and across the street from
I
that.
think it's neighborhood commercial.
Okay, not the same color brown.
There we go with the colors again. Okay. I mean, is that the only place that zone exists?
I'm pretty sure.
So,
Yeah, this is neighborhood commercial.
okay.
Yeah.
So our last meeting, Alan had suggested PRD.
Yep.
He had suggested, I thought, CIP.
Yep.
Commercial, right?
Yep.
And we talked about TID, right? Turnpike Industrial.
That's down by,
Yeah, so
yeah, I couldn't think of.
for those three. They're all of the nice village to. Maybe.
Hmm. And what was the industrial park? Yeah, which one is that? Is that? I can't keep track. There's so many frickin' zones.
Commercial industrial.
Oh, it's right.
Yeah, it's commercial industrial.
I mean, are we considering that too or not?
I would,
So,
because it's right, and it's also next to the preservation and recreation.
Yeah, and it's by the park, so I mean, that would make more sense to me.
yeah. Okay, I mean, so we got 3 zones?
If we leave out the village, we would have 3. If we want to include village, that's 4 zones.
I kind of want to include the
Village
village.
industrial or village?
Village
brick?
industrial,
Okay,
Yeah, it's all
fine.
industrial.
yes.
But then do we include anything on Main Street?
Well,
And that's a question. I don't have a preference. Or, but it would make sense to add Devitt's Field and the landing.
well, we're gonna get to, so there's another issue that we're gonna get into in a minute. So we may have to change the zone. Because I don't mean to throw us off track for a second, Zoe, but so the other day, the question came up about the school. And the school is in the preservation district where we don't allow schools. So how do they expand? Right now they need, they're putting an addition on.
A
Awesome.
small addition too. It's like, it's a
Yeah.
security vestibule.
Right, and zoning approved it. But how do you approve something that's not allowed in zone? Like you can't expand, you can't.
That's the problem with non-conforming uses.
Yeah.
That used to drive me crazy personally.
Well,
You know, because you have to allow
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
to grow, to some extent, or at least to adapt to modern life.
So the schools, the municipal buildings that are in town are all in this preservation and recreation district. So they should, again, not that I want to add another district to this map, but we're running into that issue. What do you do in this situation? There should be another zone that covers the municipal zones or the municipal buildings.
This one is odd too, just because it's clear that it was specifically chosen to be in this zone that explicitly does not allow for schools. And both
Right.
of these are owned by the Region 4 district.
Mhm.
Um,
But that goes for the church too, right? I believe there's no churches allowed in this district and the church is in there.
I don't know, you know which one the church is?
Is it in the pink? You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it on your phone.
Church
You
is
cheater.
green. But Devitt Field is in the green.
Yeah, yes. So
So we're good with Devitt Field.
if we include the PRD, the preservation reserve,
Yeah, that's, yeah.
yeah. What I'm saying for the municipal buildings to expand, we need to add a zone. The church is on Main Street. The field across from the church where they play horseshoes, isn't?
Pink.
Oh, okay.
They're both pink.
Shows you what I know. Okay,
But the Historical Society
yes, that was
and
it.
all of their land is in the preservation zone.
Right.
And when I was researching, it, couldn't figure out what the reasoning was or why.
Right.
It was added, but nobody said why, because
And you tried to do the car show thing and there was a hang up with that. So again, that we have to go back and look at that zone. And again, I threw everybody way off track because we're talking about food trucks. But so maybe the municipal zone that we come up with could also be added to the food trucks was kind of where I was going with that. Anyway,
who does the hot dog tour?
Yep.
I've never figured out if that's an industrial zone as well, or a commercial zone. If that's the neighborhood,
That's the brown. right there.
with the property next to the Juke. So what's the property next to the Juke? That commission member, I can't remember his frickin' name, owns. I think
Is
it's
it this
that.
one?
Yeah, it should be that. Build auto parts.
Well, it's further. Yeah.
It's so many, you gotta cover this.
I think it's,
That's where they used to be. Yes. Down
Blue.
I
further.
think it's this. I think it's the first blue piece to the bottom of the screen on right there. Yeah. Up one.
Oh,
One more. Oh, one more. Yeah, that guy.
oh,
Yeah, that's him.
So that's where the hot dog truck is.
And that zone is,
Like industrial.
Turnpike Industrial.
okay. So we have that. We have the commercial industrial, village industrial. What was the last one? Turnpike industrial?
Neighborhood commercial.
Do we
No.
want it there? I mean, that's.
I don't know.
right there, pizza
No.
place.
Turnpike Industrial,
PID, TID, BID.
What's
It's like
CID?
village industri- What, see, commercial
Commercial
industrial.
Industrial, Turnpike Industrial, Village Industrial.
Okay, it's three.
So yeah, so no to neighborhood commercial?
I mean, that's a little strip mall and
Already got
Common
pizza
shop.
place down
it's privately, I mean,
Yeah, the only place,
Where is that?
in Winthrop on, where, what the hell is that?
Brandon
Brandon Beats, thank you.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, you don't want a food truck next to.
Right, we already made the mistake of allowing a motorcycle shop in there that was actually a gang. Didn't find out about that till afterwards, so.
Well, and how would you know?
Yeah. Oh, the cops told that afterwards. All right, so I mean, that seems reasonable. And then if anything ever does come up that way, we could always add that too. I mean, that's just a little piece, so.
I don't want you to put the zoning map, but that brown area that was just above the industrial at exit 4.
Mhm.
What is that zone?
Deep River Market.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Here,
Yep. Yeah, it's Deep River Market and what's across the street? Oh, the jeweler
Yeah,
and the gas station. That's not a gas station anymore, but the gas station. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, that should fit.
Yeah, the repair shop.
Yeah, I mean, the marketplace there had the hot dog shop in it for a while, so
yeah.
Exactly.
makes sense. I mean, I'm good with that.
I'm trying to get back to being focused here. Those three locations were allowing food trucks.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
okay. Sounds like a plan, Zoe.
And are we gonna add the whatever that thing's called, the preservation and municipal, or?
I think, I think we gotta fix that one first and then we can
Yeah.
add it.
I think we need
I
to
think
go
we're
through
gonna, it's
each
a whole
one.
other,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's gonna have to get split up. Cause I think the intent was that was gonna be all the land trust stuff, and preservation and recreation. That way, if they ever sold it, it couldn't be turned into anything crazy. Yeah, and I think that's how that evolved. And they were like, well, since we have this on, let's throw the schools in there too.
But it also prohibited active recreation.
Yes.
And what's there?
Active recreation.
is
Yeah,
in
right.
Davis Field and, well, and the park.
Yeah.
The,
Well, that's our job is to fix all this, right? Okay, and so. I mean, I guess we just take the road part out, but know in the back of our minds, we could do that if we want to add a road. Like, if we're like, all right, this isn't working, we need to add Main Street as a road.
I think from Main Street, most of Main
Yeah.
Street, I think for now, leave it, especially downtown.
Yeah, I think we're
You don't
good.
Want it down there.
Yeah, I think we're good, but,
And there's a lot of residential up by Essex there, so not there,
right,
just the zones for now.
yeah, I think we're
We'll
good.
see how it works.
Yeah. Okay. We need a motion? Are we gonna get it all corrected and,
Let's work on it more.
okay. All right, if you guys are good with that, we have special events too. As an ordinance or, right, is that how we left that? Yeah. I thought that was pretty close, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so. I like that. And this would be an ordinance.
Yeah. So then we'd have to forward this to the selectmen and they would have a, put this on the town meeting and,
Correct. The only thing I was concerned with was
oh, my God.
you know what?
hours of operation. As it says still, the first selectman may approve adjustments to hours of operation. hours of amplified sound based upon individual circumstances. Like, let's think 10 PM would be the cut off. Except for the muster, I mean, that's a whole different thing.
Right, I don't think Zoe heard anything you said.
Zoe, did you hear me?
I heard like half of it, but can you tell me which, like page or
Yes.
something?
Article 4,
Okay.
section 4-2,
Okay.
hours of operation. And it says the last sentence that first selectman may approve adjustments and hours of amplified sound based upon individual circumstances. And one of my concerns when we had discussed this was 10 PM should be what people can rely on, where the amplified sound goes off and not be adjusted by anybody. That any vendor coming in to pull a permit would know those were the rules and would have to adjust their event to end at 10 PM with amplified sound.
Makes sense.
Everyone feel good about me deleting that line?
Yeah. I think we talked about that last time, right? Yeah.
I think we did, and I forgot to remove it.
No, it's, yeah, I mean,
That's all right.
it's not like we didn't have a lot of ordinance we were working on or anything.
Now, I have a concern
Okay.
on section 3.3 noise.
Yep.
For the rusty nail, we were going round and round and kind of agreed that we ought not to put specific amplification sounds or regulations in,
Right, didn't,
because we couldn't, there's no way of enforcing it.
right, we ran into that with the attorney with, what the hell is it, the lace factory? Right, we asked our attorney and this, you can't regulate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to
Yeah.
regulate.
So I think Marion's right, we gotta ditch the noise part of that. Cause it's dictated by the state, right? That's,
Right, and
Yeah.
you'd
I
have
think you
to,
need training, you have to have somebody trained on decibel reader and all that other stuff.
yeah.
But who's going out at 10 o'clock at night? So-
Not me.
So
no.
Yeah, Zoe, you wanna go out at 10 o'clock?
From West Hartford.
Right.
Yeah,
Hartford.
drive 40 minutes just to stand out there with a little. radio.
Right?
So we say we have the state regulation that covers this
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. We ran into that with the lace factory and they said, look, don't try and regulate it. The state has a very good regulation. That's what covers everything.
So for this section, would you like it removed, or do you want to just replace it with language referencing like some kind of blanket statement around like state, probably following state statute?
Yeah, that's probably, at least we have it in there, yeah.
I like that idea.
Okay. I'm gonna make a note of that for now.
Under Article 3. Crowd control plan. And it says it shall include a minimum of 2 off-duty sworn public safety officers. I'm not sure. I mean, I'd like something in there that says whoever can ask or demand that, but I mean, you might just need 1 rather than 2. You might need 3,
Right.
it's,
Yeah, but it says the above mentioned requirements may be increased or reduced upon authorization of the first selectman in consultation with the town's police agency.
oh,
The last sentence. So it gives you that. That would, that, yeah.
okay. As long as, yeah, as long as the wiggle room is there.
Yeah, all right. Latitude.
Latitude, yes.
Word of the day.
All right, so we also have to look at the existing the ordinance, I keep saying regulation. So there's still the thing about concerning itinerant vendors, hawkers and peddlers. And so do we mention a fee in ours? Because theirs is only $15. I don't remember seeing a fee in ours. So we should probably
For the
just,
current ordinance around vendors, hawkers and peddlers?
yeah. Oh, no, we do. So ours actually is at $25.
And does this have a fee in here? Let's see. Oh yeah, so vendors. Oh, I swear this had a fee section in my case.
It does. It's on, it took me a second too. It is Article 2. Where the hell did I see it?
Oh, right here, it's 2-2.
Yeah, see, I knew it was in there somewhere. Yeah, I think so our application fee versus theirs is, so they have, one is $15, and then there was another one that's a fee for such license to be paid at time like application to be $100 for each vehicle. And then, the license shall expire 2 months, for any one vehicle not exceeding $100 in any calendar year. Which I thought was very convoluted. So I kind of like ours better because it's. What do we say, $25 up to 1,000? I lost it again. A special event permit fee in the amount of $25 per vendor, up to a maximum of $1,000 shall be paid by the special event applicant. So I think it's like you come in and we're like, look, we're gonna have 13 vehicles. Well, you're paying $1,000. We have one guy, you're the $25, right? Does ours have fines? What's these? Required. I don't remember having fees in here.
These,
Mhm.
so I can't keep it straight.
Yeah. Penalties, nothing.
It's not towards the end, that's usually.
Yeah, Article 6 is penalties.
Revocation. Oh, there is penalties, Article 6.
Oh, yeah, we do have $25. Okay, so we have fees too. What I was worried about was replacing the entire section and not having a fee. So I think ours is a good replacement because it covers pretty much everything that's in there and expands a bit.
Class 1 misdemeanor.
Yeah.
It's very specific.
Right. I mean, I think it's good.
Fine now, than $2,500. That's
Yeah, no messing around with that.
more than
500 to
35,000,
2,500.
no more than 3,500.
You guys are good with it. This one, do we want to sit on it for another month or do we want to put this one towards the Board of Selectmen?
Well, I think it has to be rewritten to get all of, now I have an old one, I didn't bother to redo it, but the town council versus the first selectman. So it's got to be retyped.
I thought, yeah, I think the newer one has it out.
Okay.
I did go through and do that, although as we were looking through, I realized that I missed it in one of the headers.
Yeah, two.
So having one more set of eyes to make sure there is no mention of a town council would be helpful. But I did go through and replace it. I think anywhere that said town council now says planning and zoning commission.
So you want to punt one more month?
Yeah,
I think we should.
and
That'll
put,
Get it cleaned up.
Okay.
yeah, and put a revision date on it, so we know which one we're
Yeah, that's a good idea.
talking.
That's, you know what, that is a good idea.
Yes, please. We're getting old.
Okay.
Not getting, some of us are already there.
Be positive. Mary.
I am positive. Took me a long time to get here.
All right, so, so that's that. We're on to the zoning fine schedule, number C, or letters, excuse me.
Were we gonna do anything with, peddlers and hawkers and,
I think it's just a direct replacement because ours covers everything that's in there.
okay.
Oh, they gave you my copy. And we had the fines and all that stuff, so I think it's a direct replacement.
Okay. Well, I thought you were gonna get a new one. You
Yeah.
can have this one back.
Okay.
Oh, print it out.
This is easy.
I mean, no, I wrote on so many of them.
No, with mine. Oh, this is mine. Got it.
Okay, zoning fine schedule. So again, we've leaned pretty hard on Clinton and stolen their fine schedule. Which is, I did not print for some reason. Oh, no, I did print this. Look at me go.
Oh, no, I just have Newington and East Clinton.
Where's Clinton?
Oh, wait a minute.
You got it?
Area Court. Yes.
All right. Yeah. Better send these guys a bill for having to print all this stuff out. In those instances where the ZEO deems there is no time to do so, CEO determines. Uh.
Hmm. You know, it's interesting. It's the list of items that the violations, for
Mhm.
citations, or citations can be, are generally the items that you have problems with.
Mm-hmm.
But,
How do you enforce it? I mean,
well, that,
obviously we failed.
Yeah,
That's why we're trying to.
So,
but I was gonna say, there's not a lot of commercial violations, but there are. Usually it's the signs that.
Yeah.
Problem.
yeah, I was gonna say everybody's favorite. There's the new signs that are tall that flip all over the place where you get
Mhm.
30 or 40 of them.
Oh, I have a new folder.
I'm sure you do.
It lights up the neighborhood.
Yeah, yep.
Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good, but again, we're down 3 people, so. And this is the first time we've talked about fines?
I think so.
Yeah, so,
I think it needs to happen,
yeah,
but I'm gonna just pencil in signs because I think that is another big one.
okay. All right, I mean, so are we good with the Clinton one and we'll just like change some names real quick and
Yeah.
say it, so it says Deep River, so it looks like we created it?
They've got the same,
Yeah, mine says signs.
Okay, mine says signs.
Yeah, I thought I read.
oh, there it is. I didn't notice that, so.
It needs to be,
That's
it needs to be larger. We're gonna lean on that one.
What was home occupation? Is that,
I think that's, so is home occupation, so somebody doesn't have a CO yet and they just moved into their house? Is that what we're, no?
No, that's like if you're running a business from home.
Okay.
You can't find somebody for moving in without a CO. Once they're in, very difficult to get them out.
I have renters, yes. Had renters, they're through COVID, so yes, it's very hard to get them out.
Renters, yeah, that's different. I mean, if you have a house without a CO, yeah, no, you can't get them out.
So,
I have a
You're right.
question.
yeah,
So
you just muted yourself.
I know I had people talking in my house.
Gotcha.
Something that is noticeably not on the list and, the less citations I have to write, the better,
Yep.
honestly, but I'm still gonna ask it, is, structures, like a
Oh.
shed or putting up a structure without a permit.
You are
I
brave.
mean, I feel like that's, I'm just curious. I'm just curious about like, if you know the
No.
reasoning for it not being there, or if that's something that the commission.
No, you're absolutely right, because, yeah,
Because, and I can't remember exactly, but if there's a structure that appears without a permit, if it's there for more than, I can't, you guys are going.
3
back
years.
Years.
It's 3 years.
I was just reading about that in Mike Ziska's book. When does that start? Does it start when the building's complete, when it started? So, and they don't have an answer for that.
When you can prove it was there from.
Yeah.
Right, but is it from completion? Is it from when the foundation went in? Is it? Yeah, that Ziska doesn't even answer that.
Living the hard life.
Anyway. Yeah, I would add structures. I mean, we were talking about that at the last meeting for, what the hell is that? That one's on it, so. Yeah,
These are types of violations for which citations may be issued.
yeah, doesn't say you have to.
So, no, but wouldn't we issue violations for anything in the roads that was violating? So
Yes.
if we were gonna make a list, we'd have to list
Yeah.
everything. So we should word this, maybe Zoe, word this in a way, types of violations for which citation, it's
Example.
examples of types, but not all inclusive.
Right, do you, because now you're just saying,
Yeah, but then you can pick through, you're wide open to
You have to
everything.
list them all.
right, that's why I like the last one says prohibited uses. So in the zoning regulations, just make it that and that's it.
Well,
You could have these set as examples.
Not
Oh, yeah, yeah,
prohibited,
not, yeah, you're right.
not prohibited,
Well,
just violations.
violations of the zoning regulations, yeah,
Yeah,
and just make it simple. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably the easiest way to do that.
Yep, we don't need specifics on that,
We ran into that in the last ordinance too.
too
Yeah.
specific.
We're being too specific.
So let's get rid of that, types of violations.
I'm good with that.
Purpose is penalties for violations, that's the purpose of the regulations, so that's
So
it
say
right
that
there.
again, purpose is.
Right there, the purpose of this chapter is to establish penalties for violations of deep river zoning regulations,
Right, and then don't
period.
take
Yep.
the whole part 2 right out.
Right.
Okay.
Citations, and get rid of for the types of zoning violations hereinafter specified. Okay, good.
That's right, yeah, because that's why I said we changed it to deep rivers, so it looked like we wrote it. Okay, well. I think we could, like I said, we could punt on this one and
Yeah.
because we found 3 members, so.
Clean it up a little and
Okay. Okey dokey.
have to change our subsection to.
We good? Okay, on to new business, community connectivity grant. So, there is a grant that the town is looking to pursue. And so it's the Community Connectivity Grant Program. So the deadline to submit for this is May 21st. And we'd like to have everything by the 1st of the year. So John is the one who actually wrote the grant. It covers 2 pieces of missing sidewalk in town, actually 3 pieces. 2 of them are on River Road. So if you're walking down towards the landing, there's a piece that's missing by the ledge, and then a little bit after that, there's a sidewalk, and then there's more missing sidewalk. So that covers that. River Street, what did I say? Too many rivers in this town.
I know.
So, yeah, so the one that's on the map here. So we had Jacobson go out and, do some engineering for that. There's a second piece that would connect across the town green. And there's a sidewalk that ends at the package store that leads to the forgive me, the post office. So there's a missing piece across the, the Deep River end and the green. So they looked at that. And so the intent is to go after this money because every town has. And the reason I'm bringing this up to you guys is John said, if you can get the commissions to write you a letter in favor, we're planning zoning commission, the planning part of that's very big. You look favorable upon. If you can get a lot of people, you have to stand out when you submit a grant. So the intent is to get a letter. If you guys would back that, Zoe can write us a letter in favor of applying for the community activity grant for these two parcels. Yes.
I was going to check the planning, the plan of development.
Mhm.
I know it's mentioned in the proposed one.
Yep.
And hasn't passed yet, but that
Yep.
might be a good thing to stick in there too.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I wanted to check the older one and see if it was in there. I think they did mention that.
I don't remember.
I know it's been talked about for a long time. It's also incomplete streets. I know that.
Grant is available,
So the limit is, they're not telling you can stop at one point, but the limit, they're really like, if you get $1 million, that's kind of where they're like, all right, you're really asking for a lot here, so.
But what would afterwards? There.
Oh, it actually is pretty close.
Really?
Yeah, a big part of the River Road one is you have to actually move some of the road, or you have to blast all that ledge away, so that it's actually cheaper to move the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoe, can you scroll down a hair?
I wonder if that's what Essex used for River Road.
They did, yeah. See the really dark part in the middle there, so they're actually gonna shift the road over a little bit.
And it's a hard area because
Yeah.
I walk it a couple of times a week
Mm-hmm,
because you can't even cross the street so that you're walking towards traffic
yeah,
because of either the actual hill,
right, there.
it's a blind spot.
Yep.
So you're, the only place to walk is on the side with the ledge. I mean, I was thinking, God, it would be even nice if they just striped it so
Yeah.
that people would know.
No, that's a really tough spot because like you said, you're coming up grade. If you're walking into, like, if you try and go on the left side of the road as you're walking down to the river, nobody can see you. You can't see, it's a blind corner. It's terrible. And even on the right side, you got people coming up behind you. So that's been an issue for quite a while. So anyway, if you guys are in favor, we can get Zoe to write us a letter. So
Yes,
I don't.
I'm fine with it.
Just form a vote.
we just keep piling the work on Zoe. I like this.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So on to item B, we have a referral letter from the town of Essex, application 25-1, fast food restaurants and drive-throughs, through Access Petitioner 125 Bokum Center LLC. So I think Gateway wrote a letter. Oh, hold on, I got too many letters filed here. I had something from someone somewhere. Events, site plans. It was I wrote a letter and. Is that it?
There's a text amendment.
I don't know what happened to mine. I swear I printed it.
What do you need?
The,
Here,
yeah, that. Well, if you knew the whole time.
I'm trying to finish up my notes from the last one. Sidewalks.
I was just so happy when I saw that. I was like, finally.
So the COG's finding that there was no intermunicipal impacts from Old Saybrook, Deep River, Westbrook. I mean, it's over at what is that now?
Bokum Center.
What if they turn the building in? What's the
It's a Dollar General.
Yeah, DG Marketplace. That's right. They don't call it Dollar General.
Well, it says Dollar General all over the inside of it.
Yeah. But anyway, so I guess we're just supposed to say, do we have a problem with them having a drive-through over there? Do we see an issue with it affecting us in any way?
They changed the regulations, so what, does it say specifically what zone or just there? Because if it were, if it were other zones that were closer to
Yeah.
Deep River,
The weird part is they had on there saying that the existing structure already has a drive-through.
Yeah, because it used to be a bank. Yeah.
That's kind of funky.
No,
So that's where they want to put it in the back.
Yeah. There's an old Bank of America on that corner.
Yeah, and that makes sense. As far as usage.
I mean, I don't know, it's just, this is site specific, which is odd.
yeah, because if they're changing, if they're doing a reg amendment, they're not doing a reg amendment for one property, they're doing an amendment in a zone, I would think.
Do you mind pulling up the Essex zone map?
Yeah, the text amendment or whatever too.
I know, they didn't forward that part. Did
I
you read
only
it?
got the letter and then I went and found the text
actual amendment?
and added it, so I can also, I'll do a little bit of, let's see, so.
It doesn't, I mean,
Sections of the Essex zoning laws to be included in new provisions in this. So this is what they're doing.
right, but again, it doesn't say the zone.
Section twice. They talk about the sections, but
Does it not say on application?
There it is.
zoning regs as established. Applicant. Well, telephone. So they're gonna allow them per section blah, 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 but what does section blah, blah, blah say?
That looks like it's always on it. You know, you gotta talk to John about this. He's gotta give us a little more info next time.
Be located in a building with a pre-existing drive-through window. So that limits it. More than 3 acres in a building with a pre-existing drive-through window. Like,
Be any bank though. Any bank just,
Yeah, except
Okay.
that I don't think in downtown Essex there's any drive-throughs.
The bank across the street.
Yeah.
So if you leave Bokum Center and cross the road between
Oh,
Webster,
that's right, yes,
Yeah.
you're right. But that's not on Main Street.
they're thinking it was right there. It's right across the street. Does it include that?
this way.
There is.
so there's
the one-
Centerbrook, there's a key bank. around
Yeah.
there. And then.
Oh, yeah, that bank right there by the people.
Right. What was that?
Building in Centerbrook.
Am I crazy? Am I not seeing where a link to their map is?
You know, I have to Google that, and then also I have to tell you, the Chester zoning regulations, I can never find. But I usually just type in Essex, Connecticut GIS and then look for the access one that shows up in the search.
But even if those entities are, do we have a problem with it?
Not
If they
really.
wanted-
Doesn't seem to affect Deep River.
No, I mean, even if they could get the one in the key bank, I mean, is that a huge?
No.
Because it's heading away from us anyway.
Right.
So they're gonna come and make a, bank out, so. I mean, I have no issue with it. Like a little more information, but I think we're now that we've narrowed down all the banks. Yeah,
I mean, Essex is pretty tight, they're not gonna.
right.
Good.
Okay. So we're,
Yeah,
I'm fine with.
yeah, we're fine with it if you wanna. Tell them we're good. We find no issue.
Sounds good. And I think if, yeah, unless you had something really specific you wanted to communicate, I think it can be just that. It was reviewed and that's not.
Sounds good to me. Okay, like I said, preliminary discussion on the preservation and recreation district. So, we should probably talk about that at a actual planning meeting about how we're gonna take some of these properties out of the PRD or the, yeah, PRD, Preservation Recreation District. Because we're stuck with a school that you can't expand. If anything's gonna happen at the town hall, they can't expand.
anything that's gonna happen at either the highway garage or
Yeah.
the transfer station,
Or the historical
historical society.
Yep. So can we do some looking for? I don't know what town we would even look for, but how, do they have a municipal zone? I don't think Madison does, now I'm thinking about it. Or Guilford. Does Clinton have anything like that for their schools and all that stuff, or is it just?
Look.
Okay, well, so we'll just do some digging. I mean,
Really not in a preservation zone.
but that's, at least I want to put it out that that's what we're running into at the moment, so,
I'll check that.
okay.
And some of the and like the historical society could easily just be moved to the zone it's adjacent to, which I think is community, can't remember, village something. So that would be relatively easy. So it wouldn't have to be in a municipal zone because it's not a municipal
Yeah.
property.
Right, but I was thinking, I mean, I don't mean to nail it down as a municipal zone, but we could also add we could add the church to that because then we could go, hey, they could have food trucks there, they could have events there, and we just. I don't know what to call it. I just swung at municipal because that was the main part of that.
Well, if everyone's in agreement that maybe we should at least look at it, we could start kind of brainstorming
yeah.
some things and doing
Yeah.
some research.
I think the church is in village mixed use. I'm not positive
Yeah.
because the store that was in the bar is mixed use.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. Okay,
You guys are still going?
still going.
Can I take one of the envelope folders back?
Yeah, it doesn't matter which one.
Yes.
Okay. Here, when you're all done, on the chair, please.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand back here and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, on to reports. E CEO.
I don't even know. Just, we are moving forward finally with online permitting stuff again. I am nailing down a meeting time with the woman from SmartGov to kind of start configuration stuff. In the meantime, we are have gotten more thorough with permitting steps. Although right now that means doing, I am going to be making a template to use as a little certificate of zoning compliance for things. And so my Monday will be dedicated to doing a lot of those, as well as a few notices of violation. But yeah, the biggest thing is just there's been some process updates and there's movement again on online permitting. So.
Okay, and then I had real quick, just so you know, so I had Lisa print out the Clinton building one.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna stick it in the planning and zoning mailbox downstairs. So that way, hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Okay, on to P O C D update.
I think we're in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
Zoe started working on actually integrating all of people's comments and putting it in, I don't know, a usable format that makes sense, and that looks good. I don't know if anything has been talked about, whether you want to do a Saturday meeting. I think Zoe originally said she wanted to present a new draft,
Yeah.
basically. And that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think so too. So I think
Yeah.
we're gonna have the next meeting and then talk about a Saturday after the next one.
So, and yeah, I would think about timing, just because the original goal was to have this adopted in June, and it's April, May, June. I'm working on integrating all of the feedback that I've gotten from the public and from the, commissioners, committee members. And also going to be starting to format it into a prettier look instead of just here's a Word document. Although that part isn't necessary for, at least showing an updated draft. So I guess what we should think about is the timing of, public hearing, adoption, and then within that, if you want to do a Saturday prior to opening any public hearing, or I don't know. Maybe I can take a look at the calendar and maybe propose something that seems workable.
Yeah, I would think that'd be good.
But yeah, so right now I'm just integrating all the feedback. I actually got another email today from a resident with some thoughts, which was nice to see. And yeah, just kind of chugging away. That's my update.
Okay. On to attorney.
Special meeting next week on Thursday.
I was gonna ask, do we have to actually vote to have that meeting? I mean, we could do it right now. I was gonna bring that up under chairman. I mean, we talked about it in an email, but do we have to officially go, yeah, we're gonna have a hearing, executive session? Yes, okay. So we need to have an executive session, Thursday, the 24th at, I believe we're doing 6 PM, at 6 PM.
Yes.
So somebody's going to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
No, second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're
Sorry, I
actually
was
gonna
looking at the calendar to make sure. Did you state that what the purpose of the executive session was for? You said for 400.
Litigation.
I did say it was litigation, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
right.
Okay, cool. So that agenda will be going out on Monday.
All right,
And that is gonna have a Zoom link with it, right?
Yes,
Yes.
because I think Ken can only attend virtually.
Yep.
And also I'd like to not have to drive. Just
Come on.
so
Yeah.
I love you all a lot, but
It's not worth the trip for a 10-minute meeting.
maybe not.
Anything else from attorney? If not, on to chairman. Okay, so we had a discussion last time about the building official, or the previous building official, or however we want to take that. So went and had a meeting with the Board of Selectmen, discussed that with them. They then called for an executive session. So went to the executive session. And the outcome was that basically we don't want to slow down the town process. And so the solve is the online permitting. So going forward, Zoe's going to sign off on every permit that comes through the door, which is why she was talking about having a zoning certificate for everything. So that's her Mondays now. And the rush is to get online permitting to happen, so this doesn't happen again. That's the outcome of that. I'm sure I'm gonna have to discuss this again, since again, we're down 3 people, but just wanted to let you guys know what happened. I think that's it from my end. Budget, I'll go to the budget. So the budget meeting was Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. There's so many meetings now. So the budget meeting happened on Tuesday. That all went well. They were happy that we kept everything all the same. Didn't increase anything. So that went pretty well, I guess. Rivercog Housing, Daniel's not here, so we're gonna punt on that. Payment of bills. Do we have anything? That's always perfect. All right, need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
So-
Awesome. Favor?
What time?
Aye. It is 8:06.
Ah,
Not too shabby. All right, let me hit the end recording here. Somewhere.
Decided to do minutes. Forgot what we did.
There we, no?
We took